Welcome to HJ Goes Live. I'm Charlotte, editor at Hairdressers Journal, and this week is Mental Health Awareness Week. Our live today is with L'Oréal Professionnel Paris and the Resilient Hairdresser, aka Hayley Jepson, who I've got just waiting with me now. But just a heads up first about Head Up, which is from L'Oréal Professionnel Paris. It's actually the year anniversary of the global launch of this campaign and this program of learnings from L'Oréal. So the brand are fully committed to providing tangible and action-orientated skills which hairdressers can utilize daily to assist with their mental fitness. It's a totally free to use platform, and it's co-created with the lovely Hayley here, who is an ex-hairdresser and psychotherapist. And together those skills have merged to provide this valuable insight and support the community. Over on HJ as well, please do check out all our resources this week on mental health awareness. We've got some more lives with some of the Head Up team, and our social media channel is talking all about the content that we've created, especially for Mental Health Awareness Week. And without further ado, may I introduce Hayley to the live. How are you doing?
I'm great, Charlotte. It's nice to be here. I can't believe it's the year anniversary. Amazing.
I should have got a cake for you.
I know. Where's my cake? Where's our cake? There's lots of us.
So for those people watching that don't know you and your story as the Resilient Hairdresser, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's an interesting story, and I'm going to give you the short version. But essentially, I was a hairdresser for 30 years altogether, and I was a colourist. And I always described myself as a triple booked colourist because that's how I worked for the majority of my career. And so I was very familiar with burnout, sadly, and really around the peak. I say the peak of my career, I'm 49 now, but when I was around about 34, I was really busy, and I thought I was busy. I had waiting lists. I was successful. I was really good at what I did, and I was really unhappy, and I was struggling with my mental health. I was depressed. I was burning out. And so I decided to get some therapy to help me with my mental health. And I had therapy for a couple of years, and it really, really helped with my mental health, but it wasn't helping with the burnout I was feeling in the industry. And I just couldn't really seem to see a way out at the time. I thought there was no other options. I know better now, but I didn't at the time. And so I decided to quit hairdressing and retrain as a psychotherapist. And that's what I did. It takes 4 years. And I did that while I worked behind the chair. And then I left the industry, and thought I'm never coming back to hairdressing. And I went off and was a therapist, and that was great. And I loved it. And I did that full time for about 5 years. But I found the job a little lonely, and I ended up doing a little bit of hair for my friend's salon to help them out. And I loved it. And I didn't really see that coming, that I was going to love it again, because, I wasn't that happy when I left. And slowly, I went back into hairdressing full time and did much less therapy. And I really thought about what's different this time? Why am I not anxious? Why am I not burning out? Why do I feel better? Why am I not so stressed? And I realized that my psychotherapy training was really helping me as a hairdresser. And I thought, oh, there's something here. And I thought, I really want to help hairdressers with what I know. And so I set about writing courses and trying to help hairdressers. And that's how the Resilient Hairdresser was born, which is around about, I think it's about 4 years ago now. I think it's 5 years in November. So, yeah. And so now that's what I do. I spend my life trying to help the experience of the everyday hairdresser behind the chair. I just want people's days to be easier. I want people to feel like they can do this career for a long time and not getting burnt out and start looking for other options. And so my plan is keep hairdressers hairdressing and happy.
Oh my God, amazing.
Does
Supporting
that
that 100%.
yeah.
And I'm sure it sounds so simple, but there is so much
It sounds easy, but there's quite a lot to it.
And the coping mechanisms that you have learned through your own experience is quite
yeah.
fascinating. But talk me through the collaboration then with L'Oréal Professionnel and the Head Up campaign, and the origins of this, and also why it's so needed in the UK and globally, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's a global initiative, and I'm so proud to be part of it, and I was so thrilled to be asked. It was a good day when I got that email from L'Oreal asking me to come to a meeting. And, you know, things really changed. And mainly I was so excited that a brand would, you know, brands have got a lot of power and a lot of clout, and people listen when they make decisions. And the fact that a brand like L'Oreal wanted to put their money and their time behind a project for mental health for hairdressers, I just thought there's a culture shift happening
The
here.
tide is
The
turning.
tide is turning, you know, when the when the big brands are making, you know, wanting to make a difference and do this. And so I was so excited to be asked to collaborate, and you know, things just really evolved and changed through the process, you know. I started out doing one thing, it got bigger, next thing I was presenting it, you know. I didn't know how it was going to go when I joined. I just thought I was going to help with this project, but then it just got more, and it was such a fantastic experience that the people involved are so passionate, you know. And then there's Daniel, the other presenter, who helped create it as well, and so many other people who helped create it. But this is, I know this is so needed, you know. I was already working on, in my little corner of the internet, on helping hairdressers with their mental health, but I'm nothing but thrilled that a big company wanted to do something massive globally, and I'm just, you know, very excited to be a part of it, and I get to continue contributing towards the Head Up campaign. You know, we're doing new stuff.
And we were chatting before the live, weren't we, about how you've seen well, you've seen conversation change, and but you get a lot of response personally through your DMs or people commenting and stuff on saying your work and the Head Up work is really changing their lives and their jobs. Talk to me a little bit about that.
It's so interesting because I do a lot of work, you know, coaching people and teaching classes, and people are watching Head Up all over the world. But what's interesting about mental health is people, a lot of people don't really talk that publicly about how things are affecting them, but my DMs are popping with it, where people send me messages going, I just want to let you know this changed my life, Hayley. I just want to let you know this is so powerful. I just want to let you know I told my friend to watch this. I told my friend what you said. Do you know, this sort of thing is happening all the time because people can be a bit more private about their mental health, and they're not posting on their stories, oh, I felt like this and now I feel like this. It doesn't seem to happen like that the same, you know. Getting testimonials for my work is harder because people, you know, I don't always want to talk about the fact that they're working on their mental health, but people message me daily telling me the difference that, you know, Head Up and my work is, and how it's affected them, which is, I mean, I love it. There's no better messages than that. It makes my day to
Nice.
know that you're making a difference and really affecting people. I love it.
And do you think the conversation around the stigma around mental health is changing for the better? Do you think like employees are becoming more engaged in the subject and kind of openly speaking about it in a way that they weren't maybe 5, 10 years ago?
Yeah, I think the conversation's really changing. I always think about this, like I said, like I'm 49 now, and so I trained in the 90s, and I was really struggling with my mental health as an apprentice and a young hairdresser. But I certainly wasn't knocking on my boss's door and thinking they could help. That
Yeah.
wasn't where I was taking it. I wasn't really taking it anywhere, to be honest. I didn't know who to talk to, so I just struggled for a really long time and found other solutions which weren't amazing, like partying and stuff like that, you know. I just was distracting myself. But now I find young people, and I do think that is to do with the internet and social media, and you can find community. You can find people who want to talk about what you want to talk about. But I do find that the younger generations are much more open about talking about their mental health, maybe than some of us older folk. I mean, I'll talk about it now, but I didn't when I was young. And I think that they're leading the way. They want to talk about it, so we better figure out how we're going to talk to them about it. You
Yeah.
know, they're talking about it and they want help, and so I think we have to respond. You know, society's changing. It's not it's not such a dirty little secret for everyone that they're struggling with their mental health, but it did feel like that when I was young. You know, i
Yeah.
was i was embarrassed, but I also wasn't, I didn't even really know that it was a mental health problem. I just knew I wasn't very happy and
Yeah.
I was struggling sometimes, but I didn't even have the words for it. But I do really find that, especially a lot of young people, they have the words. And so we've got to be capable and be able to respond as an industry, because they do knock on their boss's door now and ask for help.
Yeah.
So
And so something like Head Up, which we must reiterate is a free platform and it is accessible to everyone via L'Oréal Access. It isn't just L'Oréal salons. So kind of having that, as a salon owner, someone knocks on your door and says, I'm not happy, I'm stressed, I've got burnout. It's a lot to take on, isn't it? You kind of need a helping hand, even as a salon owner or a salon manager, from an outside source. So having a platform that kind of has a framework of things to work through, or steps that you can share, kind of signpost and stuff, like that in itself is a kind of helping hand for the salon owner's
all
mental
of
health,
that. I
as well
mean,
as
yeah, as a salon owner, when you watch it, you will learn how to look after yourself, but
yeah,
also you can pass that on to
yeah,
other people. You could be watching this as a team in your training sessions. Even just showing the video says to your team, I'm open to conversations like this. I might not have all the answers, but I will help. I'll help. I'll walk alongside you and we'll figure it out. But I think it's just a great way of broaching these sorts of conversations if you're not too sure how to do it,
yeah.
you
And
know?
like everyone says, a problem shared is a problem halved, and you might not have the actual solutions, and it's not a one word answer to
No, I mean,
what's wrong
I
with
was a
me, how I'm
psychotherapist.
struggling.
I don't
But
have all the answers,
yeah,
none of us do, but we can figure things out together.
yeah,
And I just think just being listening to people and supporting them is so, so valuable. I'm just a fan of keeping the conversation in the open about mental health. I think that gives people permission to talk when they're struggling, instead of feeling that it is something they should be ashamed about.
absolutely. And moving on to the topics of kind of burnout and self-sabotage, which is something we hear about a lot, and eh, spotting the signs in people and in yourself can be tricky, because everyone says, you say, how was your weekend, or how's your week going? And everyone goes, I'm stressed. Or they go, I'm great, busy, fine,
Busy.
busy.
Busy's code for all sorts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between busy and burnout?
Well, I think there is a difference between busy and burnt out. And it's really like, are you coping with the level of busy, or are you having to drop things that really matter to cope with that busyness? And the things that really matter being your health, your time with your family, whatever it is you do to look after yourself. Are you having to compromise all of that because of what's on your plate? And if you are, and you do that for a long time, burnout, that's really how that goes. But I think the way to spot burnout in yourself and other people, I mean, some of these are easier to spot in yourself than other people, but I have a few things that I commonly say. I think sometimes, like, joylessness is a big thing. When you think, I used to be fun, where did she go? That's always a sign that I'm getting burnt out, when I'm not making time for fun and just being myself and doing things that are not just work all the time, or worrying. That the sort of opposite sides of the coin. I think things like when you get ill a lot, when you seem to pick up every virus that goes round and you're always sick and run down. This is really a sign that you're burning out, because when you're stressed, you get a lot of cortisol in your system. And if it stays around your system long enough, it starts to attack your immune system. And so you genuinely do pick up everything that goes around and stuff like that.
Hayley, that's such a good one to spot, isn't it, if you're a salon owner or an employer, because you notice when people are off sick. And if
Yeah.
that's happening really
Yeah.
regularly, I think a common kind of reaction to that is, oh my God, they're sick again. And you
Of
just
course
think,
it is. It's
me,
very
me, me. And
stressful.
like, how
It's
is that going
stressful
to
for
cope with
everyone
that?
when hairdressers are sick, isn't it?
Yeah,
You're stressed as
yeah,
a hairdresser, you're stressed as a salon owner, the clients are stressed, everybody's stressed when
yeah.
we get sick. But sometimes we live in a way, because we're so worried about letting people down, that we
Make it
perpetuate
work.
the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah. But sometimes this burnout, and I think this is really important to say, it's not always coming from work. it's not always coming from hairdressing. Sometimes it's coming from people's home lives and the level of responsibility they've got going on.
Yeah. You might
Which,
not be privy to that, and you might not see the behind the scenes. Yeah.
yeah, but I think it's
Yeah.
really important to say, it's not always work, but sometimes work can make it harder to get better, but sometimes the source is home. But in general, as a very quick solution, which is not quick, but the overall is you've got to start putting some responsibility down so that you're not working beyond your capacity. And I mean responsibility wise.
Yeah. Um, and there are 4 sessions of Head Up, aren't there, which you can either do kind of individually, and like we mentioned earlier, like perhaps it
Watch
is
them
a
and binge
salon.
them.
Yeah, binge them all like a Netflix series. But yeah, maybe it is something you can do within the salon, or if you're working alone as a freelancer, or you work collectively with people in a kind of co-working space, just making time and to start the conversation with those. They're quite good conversation starters.
Yeah, I think what's really important about mental health is that we keep the conversation going. That's really what I tried to do when I started the Resilient Hairdresser, was keep talking about it publicly, because it's permission giving to other people to then start talking about it. And it normalizes the fact that most people feel, well, I think all people feel their mental health struggling sometimes, and it's normal. It's the normal human experience. And sometimes, and this is what we talk about in Head Up, it's a spectrum. Sometimes it's a bit and sometimes it's a lot. It depends what's going on in your life,
Yeah,
and it changes.
that makes sense. Well, yes, just to reiterate for everyone watching, Head Up, happy birthday, Head Up. We've been around a year now.
Happy birthday to
And that
us.
is free resource on L'Oréal Access for all salons, all hairdressers, no matter your background, where you work. And it's from L'Oréal Professionnel Paris, and they are free. I feel like I'm saying that so
Free
much.
people.
Free.
Yeah. I think it's so beautiful that it's free for all hairdressers all over the world, no matter
Yeah,
what. I love that. It's not just for L'Oreal people, no matter what where you're working and what you're using, you can access this training, which I love that. That's one of the things I loved about this project, was that it was for everyone and it was free. It was accessible.
yeah,
I love that.
so true. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you again, because we think we did this exactly a year ago.
No, I can't believe that.
It's our yearly check-in, Hayley.
I know, I'll see you in a year.
But it's been, yeah, an absolute pleasure. And I won't take up any more of your precious time. And if anyone's got any questions, any comments, Hayley, I think you're on with my team on Friday with Sean answering
I'm
some.
talking to Shan on Friday
Yeah.
morning.
Oh, so answering some questions. So we will kind of do some crowdsourcing, but if anyone's got anything that you wanted to ask Hayley's advice on, please do comment below. This will be on both our Facebook page, our YouTube page, and our Instagram page. So comment below and you can really guide the conversation on Friday with Hayley. Right, that's it. Lovely to see you, Hayley. Have a
Thanks,
great rest of your
Charlotte.
day.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
Bye.